Welcome to this month's A Closer Look. I'm Ty Meehan, Public Information Officer for the City of San Angelo. Today we are interviewing Mayor Alvin New, who was sworn in on January 5th. Welcome, Mayor New.
Good to be here.
Okay. I wanted to start out by talking a little bit about your background, kind of where you've come from, how long you've been in San Angelo, and what you've done.
Sure. Well, I came here in 1981 to go to Angelo State University, and I worked in the oil field for a while, for 2 years going to school there, and decided to move indoors. Started applying around town for an indoors job. Ended up going to work for Town and Country Food Stores. Wanted to show leadership and the ability to do well, and then have that on my resume and go find a job, and I had it in my mind that would either be through attending law school and a job later down the line, or through going to work for maybe one of the oil field companies that I had been in employment with, like Houston Natural Gas. Anyway, started learning about Town and Country's employee ownership program, started learning about the culture of the company and the leaders there, decided that I liked it, liked the financial opportunity, ended up staying there, and worked my way up from being a store clerk in a store to being a manager, a district manager, marketing jobs, a vice president, becoming later a significant owner and the president and CEO of the company. With the exception of 2 years when I worked for Town and Country in New Mexico and the Panhandle of Texas, I have lived here in San Angelo and married Patricia while we were still in college. So Tricia also has long roots here in San Angelo, and raising our girls who are nearly 15 and just turned 13. And so it shows you what we've been doing for the last several years is all of the activities that parents do with their kids' activities and chasing them around. I've been very involved in charitable activities and organizations, civic organizations, starting with the JCs and working with the Boys and Girls Club, the West Texas Rehab Center, United Way, to name a few. I like San Angelo. I think of it as a very big small town. I like the culture here. I like the people here. I like the self-reliance and at the same time the friendly and giving nature of the people here. And so we're here even after selling a company and being in a place where our family could look at options. We think this is a great place to be. It's where we want to be. And so now I'm looking forward to serving the people as their mayor.
So what do you do when you're not a businessman and you're not mayor? Do you have hobbies? I mean, what do you like to do when you're not doing some official capacity?
You know, I've coached my kids in basketball, so I like basketball. I like to go watch my girls play. They both play basketball in school, and I like to go watch them play. I like to go to Angelo State University and watch their basketball games. That's one of the things that I enjoy. I like being on the ranches. I like just being out there doing the work, whatever that is. I believe that those that work hard tend to be the ones that get ahead, and so I am not prone to inactivity or to not finding something to do. I tend to be overscheduled slightly with plenty on my plate, and I like that. That's when I feel like I thrive and where I want to be. I like to be out hunting, but not necessarily shooting. I like to be fishing. I like to travel with my family, and I like meals with family and friends and conversation. I like reading. I think I find plenty of activity and not all solid work. But I also like work, and so I like the opportunity to do the work here about capital improvement projects and public safety and working with staff and council to try to move things forward in those areas. I like working with my ranch employees to move that business forward. I like working with entrepreneurs, and I'm helping some entrepreneurs launch their companies, as well as investing in other small companies and entrepreneurial efforts and trying to help those people move forward. I believe strongly in the creation of wealth and the creation of jobs, and I believe strongly that that is how you make a community a better place, and that's how you make a country a better place. And it's where the opportunity to serve in charity and to serve in civic organizations comes from. So I'm driven to try to make sure that I help people create wealth, create opportunity.
Now, you've been mayor since January 5th.
Right,
You've presided over 2 city council meetings.
right.
What have you learned so far?
Well, I had been to all of the meetings since June, so I did my best to be ready to run the meeting. You still, when you're running the meeting, need to pay attention to, for instance, turning on the timer for citizen speakers during public comment. I so far turn on the timer probably less than half the time because it's new to me. I enjoy listening to the other council members and their thoughts. I enjoy listening to the public and their thoughts, and I can get caught up in the interaction and not doing the technical things I'm supposed to do. But what have I learned? So far, I feel very comfortable. I think the meetings have moved along fairly crisply, and we haven't had any, major issues based on the fact that I am not as familiar as I could be with running the meetings. I think they've gone basically the way they should. I have learned that you just run this business or this meeting basically like you run any meeting when it's a group of peers or a group of equals. Make sure there's plenty of respect. Be sure you give people time, listen to people, and make your own points when your appropriate time is there. And maybe the only thing I would have changed in the last 2 meetings is not debating with one of the public statement contributors. And that's simply from the perspective of I probably would in the future let the person finish, and then when it's time for the council to speak, then clarify my remarks, as opposed to trying to clarify my remarks directly to the speaker during public speaking. That's probably the only thing that I would change. Both meetings have gone forward very well. The council is experienced and does a nice job. It's not a hard process, and I've observed it long enough to be able to be involved in it.
Now, the position of mayor pays a whole $50 a month.
Right.
It requires a lot of time. Why would you want this job?
It's service. It's not, I'm not paid for what I do with a Rotary Club. Never been paid for hours as a loaned executive at United Way. I've never been paid for service projects as a JC. This is service. This is what I think one's duty is to fellow citizens given the opportunity, and I have the opportunity. So.